Hello everybody, it's your friendly neighborhood YouTuber, Skeet39, here with another CSGO map review. This map is DE Util by OneTapWonder, and I'm going to be doing a walkthrough as the first part of this review. So, there is no radar for this map, which is unfortunate, but we are currently in T-spawn, which extends out here, and we're going to go towards a bomb site. So terrorists can come up here into this little staging room where they have two options. They can go out this way into more of a longer path, more straightforward, or they can take the more straightforward approach, or the quicker approach, I believe, and they come out behind this box and can engage the counter-terrorists up there, here, or in this connector. So if they come out this way, they're probably going to be under some fire, but they do get to the site quicker. So a bomb site here, come in this way, underneath some geometry, and the bomb is plantable all in this square, as you can see on my minimap, or my the bomb icon. So CTs will usually be found defending from in here, or defending from further back, or in the upper area. So just going to quickly no-clip back T-spawn. If we go straight ahead, going from our start point, brings us to middle. You can go up the stairs, or you can go up the ramp here. CTs will be found back there near their spawn, near the box, or over there. And maybe up there, but it depends on their timing. So terrorists can push out this way, but are really exposed and have to use smokes and flashes. Or they can try to, usually, will try to peek with the op and try to engage the sniper right there. I've seen people shoot from the ramp, which might be a better position because you don't have to expose as much, but it also limits how much you can see, and someone could be sneaking up from the corner of there. So moving on to the B site, there's T-spawn as our point of reference. You have to run up this way towards mid and go along this area and up towards what is long B, basically. And there's some boxes. You can go through this little connector area, which basically puts you out same place. Just gives you a different angle. So you can push up this way. CTs will usually be up in the site or over in the connector. So again, this is another site that's going to require some pretty good grenade usage. There's little boxes to help you as you cross, but if there's someone watching back here, then you're going to have to be careful. And you go up the stairs here, and the bomb site is this red zone that's been outlined. Although it appears you can plant on the outside of it a bit. You can also, I've done this before on CT side, get up here, and although it's very risky, you have a very good line of sight on the Ts who are approaching, and you could probably shoulder peek and get a cheeky kill before rejoining your team. So I'm just going to go back to middle because it's an easier way of explaining the CT side. So if you push up middle and go up this ramp, as I explained, CT spawn is this area right here. They'll spawn usually about here. So if we're now playing from the CT's perspective, the easiest way to get to A is to go out this door, and there are technically 3 paths presented if you count this. So this is the long A, as I expressed before. I may be confusing the site names as well. It's just something I picked up while I was playtesting this map, and please forgive me. And I know I'm probably going to mess it up at least once. So over here, you can engage the Ts, as I said, from the truck. or from the connector over here. And this connector leads right back out to mid. So if the CTs come out from their spawn into middle, they can engage, or they can, if they're not coming from this direction, they can go this way and immediately fight people over at A. So the upper path to A, you can take two paths. You can go up through the stairs near this AC unit, which puts you right out at this little balcony and lets you shoot at the Ts who may be coming in that way. Or if you come through the connector or come out this way, as I just explained, you can come up this truck here, which puts you at not the greatest of angles, but you can jump up like this and fire down, or you can just simply move over here. And it is possible to drop down without losing health. I will try to do it now. And I will fail, because I'm bad. But it involves some strafing, like that. So you have to fall and then strafe back in. Otherwise, you're going to take fall damage if you fall out of upper. Yeah. Okay, back to CT spawn. If we take a left, that is the path to middle, that's the path to A, and this is the path to B. So this puts us right out here in the site itself. As I explained, you can be defending from here, although since you have better timings than the Ts do, some people usually go down and fight from these boxes, or they will commonly fight off these stairs. Although if you want to play a more defensive, like turtling strategy, I guess you could play up on this railing here, or in this doorway, and just try to defend. But you do give them a lot of space by doing so, a lot of space for them to push up. So if we go back out to mid, the last area I want to cover, you go over this railing. You have this little bit of geometry here, which can be used by the CTs when the Ts are pushing up mid, and I've used it before. So some people will like to hide in that corner. I personally don't enjoy it. You can go up here, and if you want to, drop down here, and use this as again, another sort of interesting angle to shoot at the Ts if they choose to push up this way. But you can't really see them if they are behind this corner here. I'm going to grab this up just so I can demonstrate some of the angles. So you have a pretty good line of sight on anyone who's trying to push up the ramp, or if they're trying to hide in the corner if the smokes are off or something like that. If you go up here, you can also kind of do the same effect, but you end up having to crouch over the edge, which can be kind of risky because you may fall off. And you can also get on top of these boxes, but there's no real point to this unless you're being goofy. So if we go up these stairs here, this is mainly a CT rotate route or a T rotate route if they've already taken B site, because this is the odds of the T's getting all the way up mid, unless the CTs completely abandon it, they have to push all the way up here. So this short connector area basically leads down from mid, and there's one box here, into B site, and can be used for Ts who are trying to rotate or defend, or if a CT can get up there during the mid fight, he can defend this angle here, or watch if they try to cross. So we're now going to begin the actual review part of this video. So first category of optimization. Map runs pretty good, and nothing really got in my way while I was playing it, so I give it a gold star. Creativity-wise, the map reminds me a little bit of Dust 2 in terms of layout, but I mean, people say that all the time. I'd say it's definitely more of a dense map, and everything's closer together, and which leads to shorter rotate times, etc. But it's got some long sight lines and stuff that I think makes it interesting, but these areas could also use a bit of work. It's not perfect. I like the direction the art style is going in. The theme the creator has picked out for this is some sort of urban environment with apartments and such. And one of the buildings has already been blocked in, and detailed. I'm looking forward to how that's going to turn out, but we don't have any indication of that because it's in gray box at the moment. Art style. Only thing I have to say about that is there is one detail room in the path to a site. In the T connector, there's a glass door which leads onto more hallways to give the building more depth. I think maybe marking that area with like some sort of railing or maybe just showing that it's a locked door could be better, because from first glance when you're running around and maybe you don't know the map that well, you might think it's an actual path you can go down. So just to dissuade players from trying to get in there. So this part I've decided to modify a bit, and I'm going to actually be doing a live comm over this footage, which I'm recording, for the layout section of the video, just so I can give more up close and like personal advice on what I think should be changed. So first thing on the list is that I think the terrorists have a bit too quick of a route to middle, because they spawn over there and can get to about here, and the CTs conversely they spawn here, and I haven't checked the timings out, but from in-game they can get to about here by the time the T's are not really visible yet, but they're right about here. So the timings are close, but I think they should be able to see each other at about the same time instead of the CTs. Because I mean, with the CT side, you have the split second chance that someone's deciding to like peek this like crazy angle. They can potentially get picked off because the CT is ready for that. So I wouldn't say a major change, but just move it back like a little bit. Maybe move this wall further back a couple units, and then just move the T spawns back. One of the cool things I like about this map is the smoke paths, which I call them, which are these little gaps in between the buildings here. Yeah, there's one right here. Right here. So what you can do with these, this works more from the terrorist side, so I'll go demonstrate from that. I don't know if this is an intentional thing or not, because these areas are clipped off, but I think they're a very good part of the level that probably should stay and be expanded upon. So if you throw a smoke across here, it lands at a great spot to cover your team and pushing up middle. I mean, I could probably have thrown this better so it lands like here, but these are like really cool. This one I think works more for, I think this one would work more for CTs, because then you could throw a Molotov. If the T's have taken mid and you get a call from your teammates and need to waste a Molotov because you're bad at this game. There we go. So throw it like that. So that way this cuts them off and they have to delay their push onto a site. Speaking of which, we're going to go talk about this area. Okay, so my general issue with this site is this spot right here. I feel like, first of all, I'm wondering why it exists, and the fact that it has been clipped off and this prop is here means that I think this used to be accessible, but it was blocked off for some reason. I think the CT's presence in this map, or in this site, is very like sluggish, because the only places they can hold are from back here, from in the site, which doesn't have cover, or at least not like reliable cover. This spot's kind of cheesy. Or back here, but this isn't really an angle because you can only shoot them once they've actually gotten into the site. Or you could just go up here, which again, not a lot of cover and doesn't give you a great line of sight. So if this came back, and when I was looking at this, I don't think this whole area should come back. I think this area should be blocked off, and a wall put up here. Maybe make it wall bangable. I don't know, but just I think that if you kept it like this and just took away the clips, it would be crazy overpowered because you could have like all these angles that no one can look at because it's underneath an overhang and you're going to see their feet before they see you. But I think an upper area like this, so that way they can have someone up here with a shotgun maybe to ambush the T's as they come in and encourages them to use nades, or maybe connect this area out a bit or open up like a window maybe, so then you could look through and fire at them and they'd have to actually like aim up. If that doesn't sound appealing or doesn't sound like something you want to do with this bomb site, I'd say just take this whole area out. Just take out this whole bridge and maybe slim down these a bit. Because as you're entering the site as a terrorist, you can't see the site initially. And then as you come around, it's just in your way. And like it could be taken out and then you can have a clearer shot and you could throw nades to counter it. But because if you do it now, you'd have to be back here and like you have to like throw it over and have a knowledge of where that's going to go off, and most people don't have that. Also, minor nitpick. This, I'm trying to get in the box. For some reason, this damages you. I mean, I know it's fire, but there's no way you can actually get up here without no clip. So maybe I don't even know what this is supposed to be. So I'd say either like make it possible to not get up there, or just block it off in some way, or just take out the damaging thing and change what the fire is, because I don't know why that spot should damage you, or should have a damaging entity if you can't even get up there. I think some sort of cover in this site itself, like a box or a wall of some sort in this lower area, could be very useful because currently there is no cover and you have to defend from around this, which kind of leaves you vulnerable if they decide to push up along here or drop down. And if you have cover in the site, that enables you to drop down without breaking your legs and essentially dealing fall damage and making sure that people who are in upper don't really want to leave upper, because the only way they can leave is by taking damage or doing like a trick jump, which I did in the walkthrough, but I can't do now. Like that. And that can't always work in the heat of battle. Like if there's T's coming through and you need to drop down, there should be a box like here or over here that you can just safely drop onto. And right now there isn't one. Also, I think this planting area should probably be reduced somewhat because I don't really see a need to have this whole space be plantable, especially if they like plant it in some obscure corner and just throw smokes all over the place. And like it can be plantable like out here, and just adding cover will help with this because then you can figure out where you want the players to be, and then you can slim this area down because it doesn't all have to be playable. I do like the windows. I think it adds a fun little interactive part to the level. And when the bomb goes off, they all explode, which I think is a nice touch. This AC unit area, which I mentioned a bit in the walkthrough, I like because you can hold from up here. I thought there was a hole in the thing. And you can use it to get into upper, which currently, I mean, there's only 2 ways of getting up there. A ladder, I'm just thinking of this now. A ladder in sight may also be good to lead down from one of these areas. Maybe cut down on the railing a bit because it's kind of large. Similar to something like train. But this sight line is kind of ridiculous because as a CT sniper, if the T's decide to take B and you're saving for some reason, you can just hide up here with your op or whatever. And if they peek out all the way over here across the map, they're going to have to try to shoot you from behind this box, which is wall bangable with the op. And it's not going to go well, especially since they can like see you from angles like this if they're crouched and like hiding all the way back there. just generally unfun. So I'd maybe say move the doorway over here, or actually since this is CT spawn, maybe add some sort of verticality in it, or just change the way this sight line works so that way they can't have that line of sight, because it's kind of ridiculous. And I've gotten kills in my playtests by doing that. This sort of applies to the whole map, but these small one-person doorways are generally not good for Counter-Strike, nor is this dark spot that I've never even noticed before, because I usually don't go this way. These one-man doorways are kind of detrimental because, again, one person can go through them at a time, so it kind of limits your strategy. And especially with the concerning the bots in this level, they frequently get stuck in areas like this. So something more like this. This is a good doorway because it's spacious enough that you can get multiple people through here and get grenades and stuff through here without sacrificing the aesthetic of the level. This truck area, I think, needs some clipping and or improvements to how it works. Like maybe add like a ramp made out of geometry here, just because to get up here, you have to go up, jump, and then jump again. And it's just a little bit too time consuming, especially since it's right in front of and exposed to one of the terrorist lines of sight, and an additional line of sight over here if they take mid. Also, one thing I noticed while playing is that there's a clip brush right here, which I enjoy when people clip the level. But right here on the other side of this, which for some reason when you run off of it makes you jump. And I don't like that. I think it should be smoother or have this not be quite so sharp of an angle, because I don't know why this is a thing. Especially if you're trying to be sneaky around here and like maybe someone's back here and they see like your head pop up for a second and then they know that you're trying to flank around because you're just automatically jump. And I'm not even doing that. It's just of its own thing. This cover could be improved a little bit because it's kind of just a box, and I'm pretty sure it's slightly larger than the actual doorway, and just it could be improved. There's more options for this. So now we're going to move over to B site, which I have frequently called A site by accident because it reminds me of A site from Dust 2 with the long area and the similar to A site Dust 2 planting area / platform. So first of all, I think long's a bit too narrow, and there's not a lot of cover when you're coming up, which I know is essential to it, but I think because of the narrow size, it kind of restricts where the T's can hide. Like maybe add some small alcoves or just areas where they're not going to be immediately exposed, because this is pretty much it, and this isn't much to go off of. Like you can't hide more than one person here. And these boxes aren't really good for cover. One thing I noticed as well is that in terms of clipping, most of the stairs on this map are not clipped. I know you can't clip spiral stairs very well, but stair clipping is very important for your level because it makes people's, let me find an example, like this. If your stairs are properly clipped, your view doesn't shake up and down when you go up the stairs or down the stairs, for example. And that also impacts your accuracy because you can't accurately shoot and move while you're going up unclipped stairs. But that's not my it's not my field to talk about. I'm not making a mapping video. I'm making a review. So I know these can't be properly clipped, but there are others in the map that should be. This whole half of the map, this whole area, does not have any clipping at all, and creates spots like this where you can just hide. And although it kind of screws up your accuracy, and actually I'm stuck at the moment, you can hide in areas back here and kill people. I'm pretty sure if you hide in the spot, you don't get killed by the bomb for some reason. But just clipping on the truck so you don't get weird spots or like unfair angles and stuff like that. And stuff like these boxes could be improved. This area here, the little, I call it the side area, I think this doorway needs to be bigger because, again, it's a one-person door. And if you come out here, you can't really see anything except maybe top of the stairs and anyone who's like jumping or defending this area. If you also get to here, so if you had a wider doorway, you'd be able to get more people through and you'd have a wider area which you can see. And another thing with the one-man door is that back here, where you're safe, you can't throw any useful smokes. Like that, I mean, it's good, but whoever's holding here can just move over here or just know that there's someone in here because it's a one-person door and it's pretty easy to track where the grenades are coming from because you can only hit one angle pretty much. So I think this area either needs to be, I think it first of all needs to be shorter, and I don't think it needs to be as large as it is. I think it could be slimmed down a little bit, block up some of this empty space in all these corners where you can shoot people from. If not, I'd say just take it out and maybe add some sort of like ramp or something, some sort of vertical element that could help contest the people in sight, like maybe up like this. Could be interesting. I don't know, you're the mapper. I like the curved walls here. I like this. This site, again, does remind me of Dust 2, but it's also different in terms of just how it looks, which, I mean, it's not much to say at the gray box level, but I think it's cool. I would say, though, that the cover in the site doesn't really benefit the terrorists if they plant. If they plant here or like here, holding long, pretty much after they push up long, they pretty much have to ignore this area, except for maybe one person to watch for a rotate, because none of the cover in this bomb site benefits much like Dust, unlike Dust 2. You can't plant somewhere and then watch from a long position. Like if you had a plant like up here, for example, or something like that, you can't have a position down here and be able to watch from long. So that's a design choice on the mapper's end. I just think that if we're going to have this long area here, then we should probably use it in the level rather than go up here, plant, and then immediately have to like defend this new area. One of the things that this map has an abundance of, especially in this site, is these deep corners, like this one, or like this one, that should just be filled in because as someone coming down this ramp, there's only so much you can peek before the other person's going to see you, peeker's advantage, yada, yada, yada. So you can just hide in these corners and get like cheap kills on people, and that really shouldn't be a thing. So just fill up the corners with something like a box, or just move the wall forward, because like, one, they make the rooms unnecessarily large, and again, they're good for getting cheap kills, which is kind of a unfair tactic and not really something I like in levels. What if you can get the bomb stuck in here? Yep, okay, so there's that spot. In terms of timings, I'd say that the CTs, based on their positions, they get to both sites pretty fast, but not. They get to maybe about on this ramp when the T's come around the long corner. I think I think that's good, but I think if you're going to do that, there should be some sort of cover here, because otherwise the CTs get out there and the T's come around the corner and get immediately shot because there's nothing to hide behind, which means that most terrorists would be playing from back here. And I mean, while you can throw smokes and stuff, it's not the greatest area, and then you have to push up all this space just to get to this area, which I feel like is the intended staging area for the B bomb site take. Get the bomb back. This spot is cool. I like being able to have this like high risk, high reward area where you can just peek and shoot at people coming up long, but you're also like completely exposed. Overall, I'd say this map and the sites, in terms of the layout, it tends towards the counter-terrorists because the terrorists have to push through all sorts of bottlenecks, and the CTs generally get most places faster, and the terrorists have, like with middle, for example, have a long uphill battle that they have to either use grenades to clear or just using good aim to kill the people that are up here, or they could be up here or up in the up in this little short position. So generally it's going to be a tough fight for them to even get up to where they need to go. A site not so much, but B and middle is more of an uphill climb for the T's. They have no real reason to push out here because they have a completely, well, not completely safe, but they have a safe path into A site. So I don't think there's a reason for them to push up here. So maybe give them a reason and make this upper area more advantageous to be taken. Also, I'm not, again, with the widening of the doorways, this whole room could be improved. Like, widen these doorways out and add in like a piece of cover or something in the corner to make it look interesting, because it's just kind of a room. And again, with the corners, just fill it in. But anyways, I like these. I think there's some interesting geometry, like this whole whatever. I think it's supposed to be a garden. This whole structure here is kind of cool because you have all these little small angles or like interesting jump spots that you can get up to. I like that kind of stuff. Overall, the layout, I mean, I like it because I enjoy more compact maps. I just think that there's like the choke points and stuff should be widened because it's very hard for the terrorists to play this map at the moment. So next part of the review is going to be about balance. So I covered most of this already in the layout section in terms of the balances of different areas and such. But overall, I'm going to say that DE Util is a mostly CT-sided map due to the choke points and the distance the terrorists have to cover by using grenades and or well-placed shots. And middle is very CT-sided, as the terrorists don't really have the best angle as soon as they get there and can see the CTs. Overall, I'd say this is a good map, but I think since it is in gray box form, it's got some way to go before it can really be tested properly. But that's the case with all gray box maps, is they're just really early layouts, and once you refine that, it becomes a real level. Thank you guys for watching this video and enjoying the review. This one has been a very long time coming, but I've finally sat down and decided to get it done. I've got a queue of more maps that I want to review that people requested me to look at. So I'm going to just start playing through those and see how it turns out. But thanks for watching, guys. Catch you next time.